Bienvenidos a bordo de Wildlife Express. Para que tengan un viaje seguro, manténganse sentados, con las manos en brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Siéntense hasta atrás, pegados al respaldo de la banca. Y por favor, vigilen a los niños. Gracias.
Good morning and welcome aboard. At this time in motion, everyone should remain seated throughout the entire trip over to Rafiki, sitting all the way back against those benches, not leaning out towards the railing. This does include our smaller travelers. Parents, please watch your children and ensure they are sitting down and sitting back. Thank you.
Can't knock it up there that fast. Oh shit, okay. Oh yeah, she was behind a big You know what? Thank you. You're still recording that entire time? Oh my god. You can't stop that stuff.
Hey, did you see that rhino laying there?
I thought it was you. I thought you fell out.
Not like you could cut it.
That was funny, wasn't it? Hey.
It's called a petting.
Oh, it's Rafiki.
It is called a petting. Wait, DJ. Please just wait.
What's that? You think what?
It's more like viewing situations, not like a petting zoo.
No, there's goats and sheep and stuff like that that they can
You can pay it in later. What, Brady? My
It's
bad.
gonna be
Let's get back here.
Terrible. That's okay.
I should get a picture of you with him on your shoulders over here. Walk, walk, walk.
Huh?
And I think it's a penny too. I think it's just a, you can do them.
Do you feel that a petting zoo is a place for
I don't care.
I will be
I have told her and she didn't even look at me.
Who?
Stop.
unless they're
That
like
woman
funny.
behind me.
Oh, there they are. I see the little cockroaches. Oh, they're little, but
Well, over here.
Because it didn't open at the start. Ooh, look at the size of that guy's tail. See, it's a big lizard. It's under a rock.
it's a snake.
See his tail?
It's a snake.
No, it's a lizard.
Crocodile lizard.
Blue-tongued skink. It's a skink.
Guys, let's go.
Hello.
draw using guidelines. Now, in hand-drawn animation, guidelines are really, really important. So this guy's found the drawings line up really good. That's people you see in the credits at the end. So guidelines are really important. Just keep everybody on the same page. And we're starting out with a nice perfect circle. You don't need one to draw today. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start in between these two blue guidelines. And we're going to draw an egg. Now, eggs, of course, are wider at the bottom than they are at the top. And so we're just going to stay just inside of this circle, and we're going to draw an egg shape. So keep your lines nice and sketchy, because this is a sketching class. It's not a finished product or anything in a gallery class. And a rule of thumb, because you don't have erasers, I don't have an eraser either, is to keep your lines light until it feels right. So once you're happy with that egg shape, you can start to go back around it again. Darken your lines. And at the top, he has eyelashes because he's a goat, he's a mammal. So we're going to thicken up the top curve to show where the outline is. Just like so. Oh, we're up there. We're going to go ahead and give him an eyelid. A little curve above that eye. Next, I want you to find the halfway point between the center guideline and the side of the circle. In between these, over here, we're going to draw an egg line on the side. So think of it if you've ever done the rotten egg test. Anybody ever done the rotten egg test? Find out if your eggs are good or not? Not a single person. One person. Fantastic. Yes. When you drop them in the water, if they're good, they're lying on their side at the bottom of the water. So we're going to draw a fresh egg. So we're just going to go in here and draw a nice sideways egg shape. And then we'll thicken up the top curve again to show where its eyelashes are. His eyes look different because he's making a different expression on the side of his face. Something that goats generally can't really do. They can't make expressions. Animals in general are going to use body language to show their emotions. This is an animated character, so we have to anthropomorphize him a little bit, meaning giving him human attributes. And one of the ways that we anthropomorphize him is we're going to change his pupils a little bit. So, you guys ever seen a goat before? You guys are very unresponsive today, so I'm going to ask this question. Raise your hand if you know what a goat is. Oh, okay, good. Most of you. Some of you not so much. That's weird. All right, so if you've seen a goat, then you know that their pupils are actually sideways rectangles. It just regulates the amount of light that comes in. So they have rectangular pupils. Now, what would happen if we drew that on a main sidekick hero character in a film? Well, they look kind of off-putting, right? So we reserve that for like background goat characters on like Gravity Falls. And instead, we anthropomorphize, meaning we're just going to go ahead and give him human iris and human pupils. So I'm going to start over here on the left, and I know when you guys came in, you saw that pre-printed circle and you thought to yourself, darn it, I really just wanted to draw circles today. Well, don't worry guys, because you're about to draw some circles. Yeah. But you should never be worried about drawing circles. Why? Because it happens to be the only shape your body naturally makes. It's true. Your body naturally makes circles. Because you have a ball and socket joint in your shoulder. Has anybody ever stirred a pot before? Yeah? 3 of you? Fantastic. If you ever made soup or mac and cheese or anything, then you know that when you stir a pot, you do this. You don't do this, because that would burn everything on the outside of the pot. You do this. Guess what this is? It's a circle, yes! Oh my gosh, everyone in here can make a circle if you can stir a pot. You ever done this before? Yeah, guess what this is? It's a circle, yeah. Hey, your body just naturally makes circles. The key is if you do it enough, then you get, it's called practice, and then you get good at it, and you're making better circles. So what we're gonna do, instead of using our wrist, because you only do this if you're fans of carpal tunnel. Any fans of carpal tunnel out there? Everybody's like, yeah, I'm getting carpal tunnel today, yeah. One person, fantastic. And your elbow can't make it all the way around. This is about as big of a circle as you can do, which isn't a circle. It's top left corner of a circle or top right corner. So you use your shoulder to keep everything stationary and make a circle. You can make circles with your fingers too if you want to. But we're just going to go in there and we're going to get a circle right in there. The key is to go round and round and round and round, so you know you got a circle and you start to put a little bit of pressure on that pencil. I'm gonna put a glimmer of light in that eye because light reflects off of our eyes. That's just what happens as long as our eyes are open and we're not floating in an abyss. Light reflects off of our eyes. So if we want to know that this character lives in a world where there's at least the sun or maybe a light bulb somewhere, then you'll put light in their eyes. A little oval on the inside. Then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna shade through the whole thing. This is actually just the iris right here. Since he is designed in computer animation, he has all the features of an actual goat, so he does have that pupil on the inside. And I'm just gonna darken a little bit of the inside to give you a separation of iris and pupil. Now, when we turn our heads in this view, his head is turned. You can tell by the curve of the center guideline. He's at what's called 3/4 view. You can still see the other eye on the other side. If we turn our head in a 3/4 view, and then I'm looking straight ahead, this eye from your view is going to be obstructed by my nose, right? Whereas this eye, you're going to be able to see the entire iris of the pupil. So keep that in mind when you're drawing this iris and pupil. If you put it anywhere but the top center of this eye, he will be lazy-eyed or cross-eyed. People do this all the time thinking, well, if his iris is over here, then it must be way over here. Nope, not when you turn your head. Just use yourself as an example as to where your eyes go when you turn your head to a 3/4 view. And we're gonna get another circle right in the top center. And we're gonna get our eyes. Darken that. Add the glimmer of light. Shade that whole thing in. And then emphasize the pupil in the middle. Just like so. And if you guys do go out to our petting yard, we have 3 different breeds of goats out there. We've got pygmy goats, Oberhasli goats, and Nigerian dwarf goats. So they're not just, your standard screaming goat or something you find on a farm. Pretty cool breeds of goats out there. Go out there and give them belly rubs when you're done here. Just don't bring your peeper in with you because they will eat it. They're goats after all. Alright. He has spots that go around his eyes. And they're just lighter colored spots. Now, in computer animation, this is the same technology they use to make special effects in movies. So, this character was designed the same way that Thanos was designed in Avengers, right? So if you want to change the shade of the fur in computer animation, you just easily blend from one color to the other. But we're hand drawing it, so you have to draw actual lines for our spots. So we're going to go across in the middle of the eye, and I'm going to draw a curve that goes around the blue guideline. It goes underneath the eye. Hits that blue guideline, curves up, and we create this arch that then drops back down. Now we already anthropomorphized him by giving him human eyes. But another way that we anthropomorphize our animated characters is by giving them the ability to show emotions in their faces. Now, how do we show our emotions in our faces? If I wanted to show you that I was happy, sad, angry, surprised, what's the fastest, easiest way to do that? What do I use? Only one of you knows that? Wow. That's right, one person, ladies and gentlemen, has looked in the mirror at some point in their life. Yes. Eyebrows, yes. Eyebrows is how we show emotions with our faces. I could put eyebrows on this plant over here and make an angry plant. That's how impactful eyebrows are. Animals, like I said, use body language. They don't have facial expressions. They don't use eyebrows. Dogs sort of can because they've been domesticated for thousands of years at this point, so they kind of pick up what we're doing, but their facial expressions don't mean the same thing ours do. But we're just going to go ahead and give them an eyebrow. And then you can shade this in. I sense from the responses in this class that you're all afraid to talk to me, and I'd just like to say that I'm a gentle person. You don't have to be afraid of me. This is not stranger danger. My name is Brian. You can look me up. I'm around. feel free to respond to me when I ask questions. Yeah, there you go. I always think of it like my son. If I asked my son a question and he just stared blankly at me and said absolutely nothing, I would get kind of mad. So, in this class, you all are my children. So think of it like, all right, we're going to draw spots around this eye, and we're just going to follow the same shape as the eye. And it's going to curve around this eye, curve back up. Now I stopped because we need to draw the other eyebrow first. The other eyebrow is making kind of a, really? Kind of look on his face. So we're going to draw the logo for Colgate. So thanks, toothpaste. And I'm going to start up here. I'm going to draw a little curve, which is going to hit that eye and then drop down. And then we add that thickness to it. So it looks like this. Now there are over 200 different species of goats on the planet. My favorite type of goats are mountain goats. And I grew up in Montana, really close to Glacier National Park. Anybody been to Glacier National Park? Did you? Anybody never heard of it? Like this is the first time you've heard the word glacier and park together in the same sentence? A couple of you. Glacier National Park is called the crown of the continent. It's just one of the most beautiful places on the planet Earth, and it just happens to be up at the top of Montana. So if you get a chance, go up there and check it out. But there is a spot in Glacier National Park called the Goat Lick. And I know whenever you go to national parks, you tend to hope that you see some animals, right? Well, this place you guarantee to see an animal because goats love licking salt deposits off of the sides of rocks and cliffs. And so there's this entire sheer cliff face full of salt deposits, and it's always just full of mountain goats up there licking salt. And then usually on the other side of the river from there, there's a bunch of hungry-looking grizzly bears looking off, going, "Man, I wish I could scale the side of the cliff." So be safe, if you go out there, because there are things that want to eat them lurking in the woods around there. It's always good to, whenever you go to any national park or any park or anything that has an animal in it, where you and the animal are in the same plane of existence, to use the rule of thumb. If you go up to the Smoky Mountains, to that national park, you'll see signs for the rule of thumb everywhere, usually right next to a person who's petting an elk. Yeah. But, do you all know what the rule of thumb is? You may have heard it. What you do is, to stay safe from wild animals, you put your arm straight out in front of you, put your thumb out. If you can see that animal from anywhere outside of your thumb, you are too close. If you can cover up the animal completely with your thumb, then you're a good distance away. That's called the rule of thumb. I know you've all heard rule of thumb before and wondered, I wonder what that actually means. That is what that actually means. It is to stay safe from wild animals, you use the actual literal rule of thumb. So, a lot of people don't do that. That's why they have, when you go to Yellowstone National Park, they have to give you a picture of a guy getting hit by a bison because people try to walk up and pet those things, and those are very aggressive animals. Don't go out and pet wild animals, people. Be safe. Use the rule of thumb. Now, if I were making this expression with my face, it would be pushing the skin together in the middle of my eye, the top of my eyebrow, and so we're going to add a little curve up here, and a little curve in here. And then we're going to start to make his nose. And we've already gotten this curve drawn for you, so I'm just going to trace over the top of that curve. Like so. And I'm going to keep my lines nice and white, and I'm going to draw a curve from here down to the top of this blue guideline. Right there. Right there. Keeping it light because we just need to draw some nostrils in there real quick before we get too far. And his nostrils, they're going to be just right in here, a little hook shape. And a little hook shape over here. And then I'll trace over the rest of the nose. Once again, he has a color separation. He's got the wet part of his nose down here, and the fuzzy part of the nose up here. So I'm just going to draw a little wave, a little curve. This is going to pop down and curve around. He's got the bridge of his nose right up at the top, just to the left of the center guideline. You draw a little curve there. Now, we want to go back to our light lines again to sketch in his cheeks. So, we're going to do some overlapping lines, so you just need to draw these light enough that you can overlap some lines. If you do end up making a mistake, keep in mind that even though you don't have erasers do still exist in the world. They're still out there, probably in a drawer at your house or in an aisle at Walmart. So if you do make a mistake, draw a good line over the top of it or next to it, wherever you need to put it to make yourself feel better. And at some point in your life, you will find an eraser. And when that time comes, if you still care, you can pull this whole drawing out and rest to your heart's content. But until then, treat this like it's the first day of kindergarten, not like you're about to present your doctoral thesis. And try to have fun. While you're in here, just while you're in here for this half an hour, just pretend. Use your biggest imagination you have. Most of you are adults, so pretend that you're 6 again. Use your biggest imagination and pretend you're on vacation at Disney World. And act like it. All right? This isn't a job interview. I have no authority to hire you, so as impressive as your work will be, I can't do anything for you. So just have fun and enjoy yourself. All right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to draw the cheek on this side, and it's going to be the same as this blue curve out here, which is going to be 4-0. And so I'm going to go out the bottom of that spot around the eye, and I'm going to curve all the way down to this blue guideline. Keep it nice and light. Do the same thing over on this side. Start just across from the middle of the eye. I'm going to draw a little line down to the blue guideline, and we're going to follow this blue guideline down here. And connect. Now, nice and light. Now we're going to draw his mouth, and we're going to start with his dimples. It's the insides of his cheeks. And it's going to start from the left of the nose. We're going to draw an S curve. If you ever want to make it in animation, know how to make a letter S, because we use lots of S curves. So I'm going to hit this line, and then I'm going to curve down. Very stretched out letter S. Over on the right, this is making a little bit of a different expression on this side. We're going to have a little smirk, so I'm going to start from the side of the nose. I'm going to curve down. And swing down in that. Like that, so it looks like the seagull flying off in the distance of an oil painting. Just in from the end of this line, I'm going to draw the same kind of curve we did over here. Run it down to there. So. Now we need his mouth. His mouth is going to start just up from the blue guideline right here. In this dimple, I'm going to draw a little curve, creating kind of a triangle shape. Once I hit the circle, I'm going to curve across, and then curve back up again. Right as this is starting to angle down, I'm going to reconnect to it over here. There's his mouth. Now, just like your dog or your cat at home, goats have filtrums. And that's that little line connecting the nose to the mouth, so we'll just trace over that. And what that does is it filters moisture up from the mouth to the nose and keeps the nose wet. That's why your dog has a wet nose. And then we're just going to open the mouth up. Valentino here is voiced by Alan Tudyk. Any Alan Tudyk fans out there? Woo! Got a few of you, fantastic. Anybody have absolutely no clue who Alan Tudyk is? Out of curiosity. All right, quite a few of you. So Alan Tudyk is known as far as his live action roles. He is in a lot of sci-fi stuff. He was on Firefly and in the movie Serenity. He has his own television series that's on like its 4th or 5th season now called Resident Alien. Sci-Fi Channel. He's been in movies like First Night and Tuckerdale vs. Evil. Let's see, Con Men, all sorts of different movies and things that he's been in. But in the world of animation, he has done a voice or an animal sound for us in every single one of our Disney movies for the last decade. That's Walt Disney Animation, not Pixar. So he's been everything from, let's see, he was King Candy, and he got cast as that because he could do a great impression of the Mad Hatter. So he was King Candy, and then he was the Duke of Wesselton in Frozen, and then by default he was Duke Weaselton in Zootopia. He's Hey Hey, he's Tuk Tuk, he's the Toucan in Encanto, he's Nosmore in Wreck-It 2, he's all sorts of things. So even if you don't have a clue who he is, you've heard of him. All right. I'm gonna draw a little curve for a bottom lip over here on the left. Now, for centuries, millennia even, men have been envious of goats. It's true. The first time that a goat wandered out into existence, and a man stood up and looked at that goat, they went, "Wow, we've got some good facial hair. I want to do that." And thus, the goatee was born. So both male and female goats have goatees, and it's just like I said. Some of you may have a goatee. I can't see all of you, but I know somewhere in your head you were like, "I love goats. I need to make my facial hair look like them," and thus you grew a goatee. It used to be called a goatee, and then it evolved into goatee. But I digress. Most of you were bored when I said that. You're like, "Oh, gosh, we'll see that." So we're gonna draw his goatee, and I'm just gonna draw some little letter V's, make them into letter N's, and just add some hair to give him a goatee. At that point, we can go over to the cheeks. I'm going to add some little fur sticking up on the corners of the cheeks. And then finish off that line. Same thing over here. A little fur sticking up on the corners of the cheeks. Finish up that line. His ears are hanging low, and they wobble to and fro. It's not long enough to tie in a knot or a bow. But we've got these blue guidelines over here for his ears. I'm just going to trace over those so we know we're using them. So I'm going to trace over those little marks. And then we're going to connect the top of this little letter C shape over to the side of his head over here across the middle of the eye. And I'm going to do it really light at first to make sure I'm nice and organic with it because he is grass-fed. Thank you, two of you. And then when I'm happy with it, I'll go back over it again. Yes, they do eat grass, they're grazers, they eat things off the ground. Alright, so we got a curve like that, then I'm going to pull this around, dip down and curve up into the cheek to give us the bottom of that ear. And then we're going to draw the fold in the ear. So I'm going to come to a point, and I'm going to curve out and run into the cheek. Now, we're actually going to make our way over to the right by way of the top of his head. So on the top of his head, he has a faux hawk. But it's hair. You can give him whatever you want. If you want to give him, I don't know, a mohawk or a mullet or a lion's mane, whatever you want to give him. It doesn't really matter. But this is the way his hair actually looks. I'm just going to trace over the top of the circle and add these little pieces of fur sticking out, just different lengths. It's hair, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to trace over the side of the circle, and before I get to this blue guideline, I'm going to leave that. So I'm going to go back to my light lines again, make sure I'm nice and curvy to connect to this top letter C. When I'm happy with it, I'll go back over it and pull this around, just the same as we did over here. And get that here. Then for the fold on this side, we'll start the blue guideline and curve down. Now, you have officially drawn a creepy flowing goat head. Congratulations. If you want to stop there, that's fine. But I have all of these blue guidelines down here I need to use, so I'm going to use them. He's wearing little yellow pajamas. And he has this big frilled collar. So that's what these blue guidelines are for. I'm just going to trace over those blue guidelines there. I'm going to pull this line down a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right. And we need to draw the neck hole to this collar. So I'm just going to draw a little curve connected from one side to the other. At that point, his neck should probably go into that neck hole. And so we can use this color separation we drew up here and just pull it down at an angle to get the side of his neck there. And then just up on that side. And that color separation, the lighter fur around his mouth carries down into his belly, so you can just pull the line. Now, we're going to draw this same curve that we drew for the neck roll. We're going to do it 2 more times. We're going to do this really, 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 really lightly. So we can go across the bottom and connect nice and light, because he has pieces cut out of this, so we need to keep it light. And then just to help us out, we're going to draw another guideline, which is going to be another curve just right in the middle of those 2 curves. Now he has a pattern. He's got rectangles, triangles, and diamonds. For the rectangles, we're just going to follow the bottom and go up to this line, go over a little bit, and back down and create these little rectangle cutout pieces. Follow that down to the middle, draw another little rectangular cutout piece, and then mirror it on the other side. Like so. And then he's got triangles pointing down at these rectangles. So just at the top, you can draw a little triangle pointing down. And then at the same height as those triangles, using this line, I'm going to draw another triangle with a triangle below it and create a diamond. We still have these blue guidelines down here. That's just to show a little bit of the side of his body. For that, you just trace over that, pull that up into that gap right there. And then over here. Last but not least, you can do some shading if you want to, or you can save the shading for later, but I like to just put a light gray shade on his chestnut brown fur, which is all this fur at the top. Or you can, like I said, you can save the shading for later. You can take those pencils with you. It's our gift from us to you. Don't ever say that we never gave you anything for free at Disney. You can take those pencils, you can flip your paper over, you can stand outside of our petting yard. Once again, you can't take the paper in, the goats will eat it. And you can draw our goats, or you can, while you're walking around, looking at
I'm very excited. Anything can happen at any moment. Their dogs.